think everybody has their own association with speed. Everyone has their own relationship with the car phenomenon. Your car says so much about who you are.
Whatever Vin's driving is going to be big and bad, you know? Because that's the way he likes it. He's the muscle car guy.
It's kind of like bringing Vin Diesel back. You know, if you bring Vin back, you need to bring that Charger back with him.
Getting back to that kind of reliable, stoic Charger was very fun. It was like an old friend. It was like an old cast member that I had worked with a long time ago. It's not only a cast member, but a very, very important cast member for Dom. You sure you want to do this?
This car had a ton of action in the film, so they had to be built to handle a lot of abuse, especially with the terrains we were involved in on this one. I mean, it was, you know, rocks, creeks, you name it. We went with this, a basic Chevy crate motor, 350, turbo 400 transmission, Willwood brakes, you know, Ford 9-ish like every other car on the film was utilizing. And what we did is we basically tried to go with the same theme as the original Fast and Furious.
Everyone's looking for you.
But just modernize the car a little bit. Inside, just the same kind of thing. You know, in Fast and Furious 1, the car had a very late 70s, early 80s feel to it. With this one here, we tried to at least, you know, bring it up into the, you know, the current time frame here of hot rodding.
Something interests you about this car?
Just admiring the bodywork.
The Torino has become pretty symbolic as far as becoming the antagonist to Dom. In the car world, there's always been this big battle of Chevy versus Ford, and here in this film, it kind of extends into our character.
Out of all the cars that we saw, we really felt like that was the one that as soon as you saw it, you got a sense of what Dom has to go against, the opposition. And in many ways, Phoenix is the exact opposite of Dom, but with equal strength.
I'm talking to you. You got something on your mind? When they told me I was going to be driving a 72 Gran Torino GT, I was like, all right, this is something that you haven't seen in any other Fast and Furious movies.
When you see the thing roll up, you know, hey, that he's a bad guy. It just says it all over the car. We added in the side pipes, Sparco seats, went through the whole suspension.
It's bright green, you know? Green is for the money.
I think when people see it, they're thinking, God, that's a great looking car.
Just the shape, the slope of the car, it's perfect.
The market value for 72 Torinos will probably go through the roof because it's one of those cars that it's a very small group of people that actually appreciate these things, and I think once it makes it to the screen on Fast and Furious, everybody's gonna want one. This is Vin Diesel's car. If you remember in Fast and Furious 1, for those of you that stayed through the credits, you see Vin Diesel driving this car down the Baja Peninsula, making his, way into Mexico for his escape. When we started this project, because the first thing that came up was what to put Vin in, and I said, well, that's an easy one.
Continuity-wise, to see the Chevelle, to go, okay, whoever thought about this story really took everything into account and really attacked the idea of continuing a saga that started in Fast and Furious.
This is a 454, 4-speed, 1970 SS, pretty much just 100% factory original LS6 4-speed Chevelle. Once Vin has found out, okay, I got to compete in this race, he has to modify this 70 Chevelle. The police are looking for him, so he disguises the car by primering the vehicle, and then, of course, he has to outfit it with performance parts. Basically, this builds a full-blown track car on the thing.
Vin's Chevelle SS, out of control.
I have a 64 Chevelle, so I like the old muscle cars, too.
It's just bananas.
Okay, here we go. Pictures up. Action!
After Tokyo Drift, and people would come up and they would say, come on, we got to bring the muscle back. the GNX. That was a fun find because we kind of brought back kind of the more the 80s Buick. And for this film, it was spectacular.
Most people that come to the shop and think, oh, you guys just bought some Buick Regals, you blacked everything out and made, GNXs out of them. For the most part, I think almost everyone is actually a true Buick Grand National. They're a lot of fun, handle great.
That car is definitely a beast. I remember while I was bouncing in New York, it was the fastest car on the market. And the car was beating everybody on the West Side Highway.
Most of the cars have the original 3.8, heavily modified turbo 200 transmission in it. It has a roll cage, it has a shifter, the brake bias valve, it has the slide brake, the Baird seats. We put a Hotchkiss suspension to these things. They have enormous sway bars. And like I say, it performed flawlessly. The stunt guys love these things.
A friend called me to tell me how excited he was to see that car in the trailer.
I just really appreciate the design, and with this movie, the GNX, I fell in love with, I just thought that would be the cool car to have.
I love imports, but if I'm describing who I am, it's a muscle car.
I appreciate them all, domestics, you name it, I like them all.
It's a muscle car for all the reasons that anyone who loves muscle cars would understand.
Muscle beats import every time. Every time.